Nigeria, it's another edition of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun.
And I'm Anulu Akpoido. We're set to engage conversations that will drive matters that are serious in the country, that will bring us to a point where we understand what we're doing as a country, and probably ask questions from the right quarters and the right people to answer the questions today.
Exactly, and we tend to talk about the headlines today across the newspaper outlet, and we are not doing that alone. The analyst with Olukunle Drodolu will join us very soon on the program this morning.
And of course, we'll bring a program to a wrap after all of that conversation to engage some other things that we have for you today on this dial. So
stick around. We take a short break now. When we come back, we move straight to newspaper headlines and analysis. We'll be right back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916
Well, the stories are not waiting. Every new day brings another story. And for once of maybe sometimes conversations, there has to be another conversation that would disrupt the former conversation we've had just the day before. And subsequently, we keep having stories in the country. But that's the way it is. But sometimes we ask, what are the stories we have in the country that we should look at? But of course, this morning we'll check into the print and bring you stories that are making the rounds across the country, Nigeria. Of course, so many newspapers have so many stories today, but of importance to me is, of course, quite a few, and the major conversations that are called national debate, national conversations that call for attention for every Nigerian to have a say or the other. And this morning, I won't do this alone. I have Mr. Olukunle Drodolu joined us in the studio to make sense of some of the stories that are making the rounds across the newspapers. Good morning to you, Mr. Olukunle.
Good morning. Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. So let's get into the conversation of the day. There are so many other conversations that, sometimes you wonder, why should we have this, especially at a time like this? But sort of, we keep having this kind of issues, and it's not, sometimes maybe we are even used to it. And that's to say, especially about the polity in the country, the state of politics, the state of the political atmosphere in the country, it's always giving one battle or the other. There's always one troubled water somewhere. Now, the first conversation I would like us to maybe harp on a bit this morning is ADC heads to Supreme Court over Congresses. We've been in the know as to the saga with the ADC, and then the factionality maybe is that some are saying we are for the Macled, we are for this other party, and everybody is trying to get a share. But one of the things that one of the aspirants that was supposed to contest under this party said that was that there is so much litigation in this party, and that was why he fled. And the party is not going to bed over litigation. It's like they still want to take it. But let me have your view on what opposition parties should do rightly in order to set themselves in a position where they can compete favorably.
Normally, Nigerian politics has its own dynamics. And one of the dynamics of our own politics is that people, when it is time to contest elections, they will look for available political party that they can fuse themselves into. It's like you are traveling, you need a bus. That's how some of our politicians consider political parties. And that's why during election, they will look for a political party that can help them to contest elections. So what happened really is that some politicians migrated into ADC. And instead of them to fine-tune their infusion into the party, they couldn't do that. From one problem to the other, they didn't carry the entire party along. And that has been the problem since the day they migrated into the party. So it's nothing, ADC has been ADC all along. But the moment these people migrated into the party, crisis has started. And between that time and now, they've not been able to put it to rest.
But does this not speak to, I don't want to call it negligence, but does it not speak to the fault on the side of the parties, in that some of the parties do not have a structure that is so consolidated that if Mr. Drodolu is coming into the party, you have to abide by the constitution, the bylaws, and the rules of this party. Does it not speak less of parties in the country?
I speak less of the personalities.
Is it the personality or the party
It
now?
is the personalities that doesn't have principle. If you have a principle, you will look at the, okay, I take Atiku for example. He has migrated to all the major political parties in the last 30 years, jumping from one party to another. If he has principles, he will not be moving from one party to another. You should be structured. It's only one or two parties that should be able to align with your aspirations. It's not that anytime it is it is time to contest election, you just look for another party and hijack. That does not show ideology. Look at the oldest democracy in United States of America. They have the Republicans and the Democrats. And these parties have been in existence for over 200 years. So, and the people that belongs to Democrats, you will know them. It is the democratic ideologies that they promote. The people that belong to the Republicans, it is the ideology of the Republicans that they promote. But the idea of jumping from one party to another, like you are changing parties like you are changing clothes, does not portray you have ideology, because these parties have ideologies that are completely different. Today you can be in another party, tomorrow, and when you are in that party, you tell the entire world that this party is the best. But the moment you fail to win election, you will leave the party, castigate the party, go to another party. That does not show ideology and principle. The parties as it is, they remain what they are. Their structures remain what it is. They have their set out goals. And these goals doesn't change. But the politicians are not jumping into them without looking into these goals. They are the ones that I find inconsistent.
Yeah, let me pick up your point on that very briefly. I know if it was just for Atiku, maybe we would have said, okay, maybe the individuals are the ones with the major problem. But it wasn't just Atiku, and it's not just Atiku. We've seen a lot of defections across parties.
I only use him as an example.
Yeah, so
many of them don't have principles.
That's the point. So if they don't have principles, what about parties having structured principles that if you want to belong to, like you said, I love the example you gave of the US. The Democrats and the Republicans, they have different, distinct ideologies. They run on ideologies that are distinct. You can't see a Democrat that wants to accept his, if he wants to do that, he would have to say the things I've believed before are now wrong. I'm not a party to what I used to believe. And the person will have to concede defeat to that particular ideology. So what I'm saying is, should parties not have a structure that checks out these excesses of people just coming into the party with no ideology, like you said, and then just trying to intimidate every other person in the party?
Our politics, one of the things that holds sway in our politics is the influence of money. So, and some of these parties were created in the first place for days like this. That some politicians will be stranded and they will be looking for party to buy, to acquire. And they will offer these people money to acquire their platforms. So some political parties were deliberately floated to run such political businesses. So that's the reason why those parties exist in the first place. It's not because of anything than waiting for politicians who will want to use them use their platform to contest.
I get the point. Now let's move over, for want of time, to another conversation. Just yesterday, there were news that the federal government, or particularly the Ministry of Education, is set to increase the examination fee for NECO and WAEC across the country, about 82% increment from about 27,500 to 50,000 naira. That's going to be a standard. But yes, that came about yesterday. There were conversations. There were, people did not have it. It didn't go well with a lot of people. So there were different conversations across board. But again, just later yesterday, the government came out to say that yes, they are suspending the hike. And I was asking myself the question, why do we make rash decisions without really considering everything that should be considered? Or what do you speak to about this issue?
I speak to one thing that I have always been the basic problems we have. The entire country, we have a population of 230 million. Our budget is about $50 billion or less. And that budget is grossly inadequate. We have a population that about 20% pay taxes. So I don't know where government is expected to fund free education, free health, free this, free that. Some of the things we are always advocating for in Nigeria, they are practically impossible. Impossible in the sense that we want Nigeria to suddenly transform to developed countries like US, like most of the European countries, and we don't want to pay for it. In those countries, you pay taxes. In those countries, a lot of things are not, educations are not free. And I don't know where our budget of 50 billion can successfully cater for everything we need.
But so some would argue that if you pay for something, then you see the value for your money. And that's a conversation.
Our education is valuable. If it's not valuable, our products will not be easily desired abroad. In South Africa, even that we are talking about, we have about 5,000 Nigerians lecturers and doctors there. In US, in UK, we have many of them there.
But why do we have
thousands?
Let me come.
If the product is not sellable, those countries will not be adopting Nigerians' products.
I beg to differ on that. Are they adopting Nigerians, or Nigerians are attaching themselves to them?
If they go to them and they don't meet up, they will stop.
So because it could also be a conversation.
The reason why they always request for them is because even Trump, just earlier this year, he reversed the visa policy that some set of Nigerians, like professionals, like doctors, can come to US. The reason why that will happen is because they know the role our doctors are playing. Any doctors that leave the shore of Nigeria to anywhere, many of them are very good products.
So you think on the part of the country, we have a lot of people doing well. But
Yes.
the question has always been, why are they only doing well outside and not here?
No, they are doing well here too.
How
because
many of them are doing well here?
We don't provide the necessary systems that will allow them to function.
And that's the government.
It's not only the government.
Who else?
Everybody is the government.
Who else is supposed to produce or provide an atmosphere or a platform for people to thrive?
There was a time, for example, in those countries, you cannot work in government hospitals and still run your private practices. They don't allow it. I could remember when Lagos State government tried during Governor Ashala's tenure to break these practices. There was an uproar, and they were threatening they would go on strike, they would do this, they would do that. So there's a lot of things that we are advocating for, but we are not ready to concede sacrifices.
So
You cannot run. There will be conflict of interest. I've been to government hospitals, and some of the things you see, some of the practices, like University of Teaching Hospital in UCH here, there was a time I was there, and water is not flowing in the wards. There was a time they had to tell some of the patients that if they want to use toilet, they should go and find a way that the toilets, that the water
it's not dispensing.
is not dispensing in the hospital. How do we run a system like that? And do we blame government for that?
Who do we blame, sir?
The people in charge should, in their own private hospitals, well, is that how they are running it?
Yeah, but this is a government establishment in this
Anytime government tries to push them into productivity, they always resist.
How do they resist?
They resist. They will threaten strike. Of course, we've seen so many needless strikes in our society. Many needless strikes.
So you think it's not a government problem?
Government has their own problem. The people running this system too have their own problem. We must be productive. Everybody. The reason why these things are set out to operate in the first place is because they should be productivity. But we don't measure productivity here. And that is why you see many of our doctors, many of our professionals, they want to go to where they will, in those countries, they work, if the way they put them to work is strenuous, but they get value for money.
That's exactly the point.
So if you, for example, and the major problem is the exchange rate. If our exchange rate is normal today, many people migrating will not. They will not, because by the time you calculate that, if our exchange rate is the same thing with what obtains in those countries, many people will not go.
Okay, so let's bring it. I just want to be clear on your terms, on some of the things you've said. 50,000 naira should be approved for WAEC and NECO.
I didn't say that.
No, I just want you to say
what
that.
I am saying is that
yes.
if we want quality education, it doesn't come cheap. It may not be 50,000.
What should it be?
I cannot say, because I don't run the education system, so I cannot dictate for people who run it. But what I know is that the cost of these things has a cost, and for 230 million people, we expect everything to be free. We are joking. It will never happen. Government will. That's why government after government keep on deceiving Nigerians. They will tell them, they will make promises they will never keep. That's why the quality of what they offer, after a few years, they begin to degenerate. Because what people want to hear is that we will give you free this, free that, free that. And it doesn't work that way. I was talking with somebody who said that when he traveled abroad, he now converts, that education is very expensive abroad. And when he relates to amount he paid for his masters, it's less than $100. And in those countries, in Oxford, for example, to study medicine, it costs about £30,000. And how much do people pay in Nigeria here? How much? To study some of the things in fact, there are some universities that allow indigenes to pay far less. And at the end of the day, these are universities that have their own, they operate on their own budget. Many of them cannot afford to pay minimum wage now.
But I don't want to, I'm not speaking in proxy for the people or...
Yes, I know people, because the orientation people have is that government should offer them what is affordable.
Because now my question now to you
and it's not a matter of what is affordable now, it's a matter of what is obtainable.
Is it what is obtainable might not get us to where we should reach?
We want quality. If we don't pay for it, we won't get it. No matter how we deceive ourselves from now till tomorrow.
But we understand that these things are interconnected, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If an average salary earner, the lowest in the country, gets 70,000 naira and has a child, maybe two of them, about to enter into university to write WAEC, would you say he should look out for or look for the money anywhere?
I will encourage the government to increase their minimum wages.
That's exactly because it's yes. It's not one-sided.
I don't mind if we increase the rate. Like, for example, now government is even offering a student loan
for people in the institutions.
Yes, in higher institutions, president to former president of America, he ran on he obtained student loans. Yes, in America. And we have some people who begin to misinform people in Nigeria that those things are free. I have a friend in UK. He cannot drive 2 cars. He said because the parking space will cost him £50 every day. These things doesn't come free. If you are going to, even to park in front of your house, you pay. Nigerians don't want to. I have a friend that people say, and many Nigerian professionals abroad are doing well. It's because the value they took from here to those countries are worth the while. That's why many of them could perform.
Well, that is a conversation, right? And that is valid to say the quality of education we have in the country is something to write home about.
You know, we have a lot of people across the world.
We do.
But
we do.
Nigerians are one of the sought out.
I don't want us to overflog this issue.
I understand.
Because the issue will still be that,
okay, so if your quality, some of these things.
If the quality of education is high, why is it not reflecting in people staying in the country and building the nation?
It's because the way we want, the way we misinform ourselves to think that everything
misinformed us.
Some people will begin to tell people that these things are free abroad.
Awolowo gave free education.
What is our population then? When Awolowo was planning free education for Southwest, he had to consider what comes in and with the populations.
What if we look into what comes in and what we have to generate and give free education? Is it possible?
Now, as at that time, our population
even with 230 million, 18.1 million out of school children, can we do it?
On about $50 billion budget. In this 21st century.
I don't want you to say that it is not impossible, because I think it is possible.
New York, their population is about around 20 million. Their budget alone is well above $250 billion.
But when you compare this, the context are different.
I've listened to these arguments over and over again. Some Nigerians will say, Nigeria is oil rich. They are deceiving themselves. They are not telling people the truth.
What's the truth?
Saudi Arabia, they just have a 30 million population. They don't sell free oil in Saudi Arabia. And they sell 10 million barrels of crude every day. They are just 30 million population. Nigeria, we are 230 million. We only sell 1.7 barrels every day. How is that going to solve our problems? Well, we have to compare that to the population. That's the amount you want to
Mr. Drudu, the contexts are quite different, right? I get your point. I see where you're going. I see the point you're making.
My point is that some of the things we advocate for, they don't come cheap in the 21st century. And our budget cannot effectively cater for it. No matter how we try to paint it. I understand that governments should find a way to meet some of those things, to meet in the middle. Not that to overtax people, but they should. Even the new tax reforms does not exempted some level of people. Like anybody that is earning less than anybody that's earning about $1 million every per annum, they are exempted from
the tax net.
And that's a way government is trying to bring succor to people.
Yeah.
But some of these things don't come cheap anymore. And Nigeria must be ready.
I think that's a good call. That's a good CTA for Nigerians, like call to action. So, okay, you have a right to also you have a responsibility, as it were, to also make Nigeria good. But let's get over this issue briefly and move on to something. Yesterday, Makinde calls on United Nations and others to probe Orire abduction, assures rescue teachers, school children of support throughout recovery period, and thanks Tinubu, commend security agencies, Amotekun and local hunters. We've been in this case for a while. 56 days in captivity, prayers have gone everywhere. Advocacy has gone, different measures and all of that by security agencies and every other person in the country, and eventually we got them out. Now, there are a lot of things that are still shady in that conversation, right? I know it depends on where you're seeing it from. If you look at it from the angle of maybe the political angle, you see that there are a lot of things that are not so clear. If you look at it from the angle of humanity, maybe like human rights activists or something, you also see that there are a lot of things that were not done well. But I want to get your thought on this. The governor of the state has called for the United Nations to probe into that attack. Some have said it's political. Where do you stand?
That statement is tasteless.
The statement of the governor?
Yes, it's tasteless. It's unwarranted and it's completely unnecessary. Is he saying that the presidency or some higher powers organized to kidnap those children because he wants to become the president? He said kidnapping has never happened in Oyo State before. That's completely untrue. It's uncharitable. The kidnappings that have been going on in Okeogun several times.
In this magnitude, maybe, for context.
What has the magnitude got to do with it? When he said in Oyo State we've never had bomb blast, but during his time we had bomb blast. He collected 30 billion from Abuja. He didn't tell anybody. We've never had that before. He should speak to the issue and stop politicizing it or trying to shift responsibilities to somewhere else. So we now need to bring UN to come and investigate what has been overflogged.
Okay, so let me get your thoughts on this. The rescue mission, is it as clear as they have shown us?
Everything is as clear as it is.
You think everything is clear?
The groups that did the kidnaps has been identified almost immediately this thing happened. And he's trying to liken this experience to what happened during Chibok. During Chibok, it was during the time of President Jonathan. He did not believe that Chibok girls were kidnapped for 18 days. So he did not activate security rescue team. For 18 days, he didn't order anybody to go after these girls. During the time of during the Orire episode, as soon as it happened, security people were mobilized to the place and they contained these people in a certain environment. They did not allow them to share these children, and that allowed the rescue operation to be effective. Had it been President Tinubu did not take actions immediately, the whole thing too would have gone completely difficult to contain. So the idea that because he wanted to become president, so President Tinubu now somebody somewhere now organized to kidnap those children to affect his presidential ambition. Our governor should be told the truth. It doesn't stand any threat to President Tinubu's presidential ambition. It doesn't stand any threat. So the idea to now for him to now think that it's because of his presidential ambition that those children were kidnapped, he should not insinuate that. This matter as it is. He should allow the sleeping dog to lie. He should allow the people who were going through the trauma of being kidnapped for 56 days. He should allow them to heal. Bringing politics into it will only mess it up. And the good side that people are trying to, the sympathy people are trying to show to your state will disappear if he's trying to bring policy into it.
But do your state, does it need sympathy?
The people involved, they deserve some sympathy because they didn't plan for it. The children, the women, the teachers, some people lost their lives. And we cannot just wish those things away. The idea of now bringing politics into it. We will now continue to allow this matter to be discussed over and over again. And those people who should heal, you now begin to feel they will be remembering the wound we are trying to heal. And it will not allow it to go away.
So in your words, you think Sheikh Makinde is politicizing this?
Yes.
He's blowing it out of proportion.
He's blowing it out of reasonable proportion.
And that's what you think, Abi. Okay, so I want
a lot of people have been condemning it since yesterday when
even the presidency has condemned that particular statement.
It is completely unnecessary. We now have to bring UN.
But let's talk about one of the things he mentioned, which I think is of interest briefly, was that he said the state governors do not have absolute power in that sense, especially when it comes to rescue missions. It has to be the chain of command from the president down to the security chiefs, and then every other state will get whatever they get. But eventually, even got that the children and the rescued people were brought to his office. That he was not saying it has to be done by the federal government down to the state government, because it was his federal government mission that rescued those pupils and all of that. And that's the conversation. But what do you say to not having autonomy as to maybe state policing is not a conversation, right? But what do you say to the issue of what he said, that the president has a lot to say when it comes to rescue missions in the state?
Before Amotekun were created, some governors have been crying, we don't have control. Now they allow you to create Amotekun to manage them. Well, Amotekun not in the Oyo state when this kidnapping took place. When people were being kidnapped every day in Okeogun. Well, Amotekun not around.
But the debate is they've not been equipped as much as they should.
See, God will bless the memory of Governor Akeredolu, who championed the creation of Amotekun. Since Amotekun has been created, what does other governors do? All of them are just there doing nothing. The Amotekun, the kind of guns they are carrying, They don't have bulletproofs. What stops us from going to the house again to advocate for giving them more weapons?
But yeah, weapons they cannot carry according to the state regulation. We understand that also in the security architecture of the country, that they are limited as to what they can
And that's
carry.
my point. If these people, in fact, Governor Makinde himself said that about 200 Amotekun has been killed in the last 6 years. When we have these challenges, what did he do as a governor? We have honorables in our state, we have senators. What did they do? Their job is to amend the constitutions to accommodate that Amotekun should be able to carry more sophisticated weapons. Because you want to tackle somebody who is using AK-47 and you are using something that is lesser than that, definitely you are at a disadvantage. If Governor Akeredolu did not create Amotekun, other governors would just be folding hands and be crying. Now somebody has created Amotekun. What else have we done as a government after the creation of Amotekun? Have we equipped them enough? Have we empowered them enough? We should do something. We should not continue to cry over everything. You don't control the security, you don't control this, you don't control that. The Amotekun you are controlling, what have you used them to do? What have you done to make their lives better? Everything is in your hand now. We cannot continue to blame federal government for what we can do in our own limited ability. We should not begin to blame federal government for everything. That it's until federal government do this, it's until federal government do that. We can approach the House of Assembly and advocate for more powers. We can advocate that let us equip these people, let us acquire bulletproof for them.
I think we still need to engage this conversation, but that will be at a later time. We want to say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Olukunle Drodolu, for joining us this morning. I really would like to get your thought as to state policing in the country, Nigeria.
The same Governor Makinde said when people had President Tinubu, when he was the governor, he has been advocating for state police since. So the idea that somebody is now bringing state police, now that the issue of state police is coming, when they asked all the governors to write memorandum, Governor Makinde said he did not write anything. And he wants to have control over the police. How is he going to do that?
Well, but I just need your point on state police, not on Seyi Makinde or what he's doing.
State police is the major problem is that our society is under-policed. And we need state police because they understand the language and the terrain. Because they will be indigenous people in a particular local government in a state. So they understand the path better than anybody that you can bring from other part of the states. So if you create state police, it will of course augment the effort of the federal police, and that will give us the control over security.
Taken. So again, thank you very much, Mr. Olukunle, this morning. And that's how much we can take on the newspaper headlines and analysis on this segment. So when we come back after this break, it will be a time to say BYE on the show. Stay with us.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB Van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. And it's time for Trend Watch. I'm back on set with Oluwapo. And for Trend Watch, we're discussing this headline that says, your government receives rescued Obomosho pupils teachers from military, confirms 8 casualties. And that the Nigerian military on Monday, that was yesterday, formally handed over the pupils and teachers rescued from captivity in Orire local government area of Oyo State to the Oyo State government, bringing an end to their 56-day ordeal in the hands of the kidnappers. Before we discuss this further, all of us will take a look at the video. Let's have the video.
And we are grateful. And with that, on behalf of the executive, the vice chairman, Nigerian governors, for many executive governors,
for the security personnel we had there. I'm still short of words because this has happened all over the country with its challenges. But when it came to Oyo State, it was totally different. The whole world rose and in unison, they kept calling for the safe return of the teachers and the students. To the teachers, the students, I know it's a long road to recovery. What you've passed through in 56 days, we cannot undo in 56 months. But I want to give you an assurance. I know that the Baptist school is not a government school. We will sit down with them. We don't know what they want to do. We sure will sit down with them, but let me give you the assurance, both the teachers and the student from that particular school, the state government will do everything possible to ensure that there's no disruption to your careers and there's no disruption to the education of those students.
On the 10th of July, we successfully rescued the 44 of them. Like she has mentioned, we lost 2 of the teachers while in captivity. We urge the good people of the state and indeed Nigerians to always provide us with relevant information that will help us. There can be security if the people are not part of it.
We set them up. When we started the first week, they were bringing biscuits for them, maybe to make them comfortable. But along the line, that stopped. Then we had to move from one point to another, and that was a major problem we had. When the place is discovered, we have to move, and that starts around 7, 8 in the night. Sometimes we walk 3, 4 hours. That is most of the bruises you see on our body. Yes, yes. They carry Waliyat and testimony. The girls, my secondary school girls will carry the pair. The other ones, they will have to walk. Will fall sometimes. A lot. A lot. When we were taken, my car was used to convey us to a point. That was where we met the primary pupils and their teacher and the teacher. So we had to walk for about 1 hour. They brought bicycle machine and about 10 of them. So we were parked there. And we rode for more than 4 hours on charted paths. But they knew their way.
Welcome back from that video. Listening to the woman, that's Principal Alamo, you can tell that these people went through a lot. She said they had to, transfer them from one point to the other, and that cost them a lot of injuries, and it's really sad. And then when I watched the video, there was another video I watched, and I saw that even the children, most of them don't know what is going on. But for the elderly ones, you can tell they are not okay yet. But then, according to the governor, he says something that is really important, that he's going to ensure that the children will not suffer any disruption to their education or their career, and I think that is very key. Anu, what do you make of the story?
Well, while there are different ways to look at the issue, first thumbs up to the security apparatus in the country, the president particularly, and of course the state government as well. This is a development, but I would say, I said it yesterday and I'm going to say it again, that I pray and I hope that whatever happens in your state that brought a rescue should happen to every other state across the country. Because if we have one country, I am not more interested in the people in Oyo State much more than every other state. Every other state is just as there are many people who have been in captivity for quite a while now, and we still can't find them. So let's do the same, right? Let's replicate this particular move to every other state to make Nigeria safe, not just a particular location safe. And I say this with no bias, with no reservation. I'm saying this because this is necessary to be said, that we hope that it will be the same across the country. And again, briefly, the woman said something that I think I liked it. What she said last was, they had their way. Like, those guys knew the terrain. It's about 2,512 kilometers, the entire old Oyo National Park. I happen to be someone who is in the thick of the forest situation, kind of, and I understand how this can be. But I was thinking about 56 days. If it takes 56 days to navigate 2,512 kilometers, what about places like Niger State? That's about 76,000 kilometers square area of land. How do you navigate that? How many days is it going to take to navigate through that much expanse of land? So I'm looking at technology, and I'm thinking, I had a conversation with somebody from the US who is into drone building and all of this, and and I was asking him, are there ways we can check these things without these people? And then he mentioned something about thermal imagery, that they could be detected without anybody breaking sweat. It's so easy to do, and he was explaining how it's going to. And I'm asking, this is 2026 and this is Nigeria, this is where we are. We should not take this long to rescue these kind of things. We should not take this long to set the entire 2,512 kilometer space of the old Oyo National Park. We should have upgraded. And this is no disrespect. This is no discounting of the effort of the government and every other security apparatus. I'm saying we can do better as a country. We can invest more in technology. We can invest more in the things that can ensure the safety of my life, of your life, and of everybody's life in this country. And that's my thing.
Yes, I think I would like to add something. I think some persons have been comparing this, with the Chibok issue. But I think one thing that ensure the safe rescue of these people all at once is because, they could not transport some of them to other areas. They were all together in a particular location. But for the Chibok issue, because of situations that surrounded that particular abduction, they were able to move some of the girls to other environments. So that's why they could not rescue all the girls that were abducted, and some of them even died in the process. But then I think I'm happy about the fact that they were able to rescue all these people all at once. But then it speaks to the fact that we need to be more intentional. And I think according to the GOC, mentioned that at some point, the drones could not even capture the location of the terrorists in the thick of the forest. And I think it's a problem because according to him, he said, because of certain issues. So I think we need to work on that. And I remember some Nigerians even compared certain issues. I think was it last week, I was surfing through the internet, and they mentioned that there was a time that an American citizen was kidnapped, abducted, in an African country, and it took America to rescue one citizen in 5 days. And so they were trying to compare it to the 56 days that it took the security operators to rescue these people. So I mean, there's a lot to talk about, 5 days, 56 days. And then some people even came out to say, oh, it was easy for America to rescue that person because that person is instrumental to the intelligence system of America. So they needed to get that person out. And out of the 7 abductors, of that particular, incident, they neutralized 6. And then one person, they arrested one person. So, I mean, it's easy to compare these issues, but at the end of the day, it speaks to the fact that we need to do more, we need to do better. If we've been handling, issues of abduction and then kidnapping like this, trust me, we would have gone far. We would have been able to dismantle the system to an extent. So, kudos to those people. It speaks to the fact that they need to do more. I mean, look at the things they didn't do well. I mean, that's the whole point. I don't know. I wish they can, get to know about these things. Check the things that you're able to do well, check the ones that you failed at, and then there should be room for improvement. There should be a review process. I mean, the Army, the Navy, this is what we did right. This is what we did not get right. And then you make room for improvement. And then we can now begin to think of how to because recently, a farmer was kidnapped. Another principal was kidnapped recently. What is going on? It's like an attack against education. And we need to be intentional. So they should look for or find a way to review the process, that ensure the safe rescue of these people. And then there should be room for improvement.
Yeah, well, briefly, I'll just add to what you've said. The issue with internal security is not something we can overflow, and it's not something we should overflow, but it's something we should keep talking about. It cannot be just said in one time. What you said, the GOC said, and I think it's in the video as well, about the challenges they face while trying to rescue. I think sometimes we can speak from the place of what we know, right? Because there are a lot of things we might not know, except we know. Now, I'm saying that he said that the terrain, of course, we understand the rainforest that we have in this part of the world, the tropics, of course, the tropical rainforest is what we have. And so there's a chance for woody lionas and some of these things, the shrubs to come together, the overcrowning of the crowns to come together and everything, so you don't get to see clearly. But that was why I was saying that I spoke with an expert and he was telling me there's something called thermal imagery. Thermal imagery does not need to go through the bush, does not need to go through the trees. It only stakes in a place and then it checks into anything that is breathing, it captures. If it's humans, it sees it, and then it gives you a picture of this is the exact location, it gives you the approximate coordinate of that region. This is this place, north degree east 777, and this is, and it tells you the exact location, and if you get there, you meet the people there. And I'm saying that, how do you think the war in Ukraine and Russia is fought? I don't know if people think they go there with guns and everybody's firing one another. It has gone beyond that. You see, every day you're saying they intercepted missiles. Can we intercept one missile in Nigeria? That's where I know we trust so much in the security architecture in terms of like having people bear arms and running around. The world has gone beyond that. Security has gone beyond that. We need to invest in a lot of technology that would help even our soldiers to be very compliant with modern day technology, with drones and all of people are building drones from their country. There's a place in Ukraine that is responsible, like a university setting kind of, that was built especially for that. So they build weapons that can there's so much to say, right? But there's so much to also do.
Exactly, and that's why I said there should be room for improvement. They should be able to review the process. And I remember there was one time the Minister of Defense, when he was being screened for that position, he said drones are expensive, and beyond drones there are other things that we need to put in place. They're expensive. And then he was saying that to the senators, and then I just want to assume that they will make room for that in the budget, so to help these people get the necessary equipment that will make them do better, because at the end of the day we talk about Nigeria is poor. I don't think Nigeria is poor. At the end of the day I think we are rich. Yes, we keep borrowing, but if we can borrow for other things, we can also borrow for the security system of the nation. So at the end of the day, yeah, we might not be close to what countries like America, like Russia can do, because I'm being sincere right now. We cannot even be close in the next 5 years. It's not even, I'm not trying to be pessimistic. Because
are you saying we are not working towards it, or
we are working,
cannot?
No, we are working towards it. But these people have gone, they've gone ahead so much. You know, in terms of intelligence system, in terms of security, we can get there, but it depends on how intentional we are in terms of getting there, so that we can also we can be at par with the international systems in terms of security. You know, but then there's a lot to do. Nigeria is lagging behind so much when it comes to intelligence system. See, there was a time an abduction happened in Ibadan. You know, I think it has to do with the younger sister of the former minister of, exactly. And then some persons were concerned for the person who recorded the video to see, this person, they might kill him, they might injure him, things like that. So it tells you that even, you know, people, there's this popular quote, when you see something, say some people are even afraid to talk about the things that can help the security system. Because of why? Because they are scared of their life too. So these are the issues. But then beyond that, I think there's a lot to do, and then we need funds, you know, to actually, you know, get things, you know, on the right path. I mean, for the
valid points you made, I mean, well, I'm afraid the funds might still get siphoned by some people, right? And that's a thing. We want to see appreciable, measurable progress in this. We need to also invest in universities. Instead of just saying that, when you said, the minister said that, oh, drones are expensive. Simple. You should not say that. Why should you not say? Because we know we are not talking about invent or importing them. Why can't we build drones? We have universities, we have electrical, electronics, we have technological departments in the country, across universities. In how many universities do we have in the country that are not producing? Can we produce from there? Can we not just import them? If you have to import the parts and then put them together here in Nigeria, and then it won't be as much as that. It won't be that expensive. So that's what I'm saying. We can invest in the education sector to be able to give us what we want in terms of security.
Yeah, that would have been very possible if the environment is conducive. I remember we've seen students across some public universities come up with initiatives that can actually improve our intelligence system. But then some of them, they don't have the funds. Some of them were not encouraged, and then it just went away like that. So I think it's a collective effort.
Yeah,
I mean, the people who have the knowledge, the brains, and then the government as well, and then the security operatives as well. I think it's a fun place to leave this discussion this morning. Thank you for being a part of Big Story, of newspaper headlines and analysis, and in general of Daybreak Live. My name is Oluwayemi Adelako. I'll see you tomorrow.
And I would say, invest in what is right. Invest in the things that can move the nation forward. My name is Oluwayemi Adelako, saying bye for now.